Yes, looks like we're up and running. How's everybody doing? I'm John Zidar, also known as the Stocks Wizard. This is on Top and Hot Live, where we're going to talk about hot penny stocks that you gave me. I do the due diligence. I'm going to cover them. But of course, this isn't deep dive due diligence. We're going to try to look at as many hot penny stocks as we can. I'm going to try to get through these, not rushing through, but we need to pick up the pace a little bit because you guys give me a lot of stocks. I used to cover 8. Now I'm lucky if I can get to 5. Blah, blah, blah. We know where the problem lies. Let's tweak it. Thanks for showing up, all of you. I got my regulars out there. Yeah, Velmore. Haven't seen Kashira yet. Where's Kashira? I'm sure he'll show up. We got Mark out there. Stephanie, thanks for showing up, Stephanie, the underdog who was actually first today. Belmore, you don't care, do you? Yeah, this is just something we play with. I'm glad to see you all here, and I've got everything lined up for us. So let's just dive on into this. If we have any problems, please let me know. I do have another screen up here. Once I leave here and start showing you stuff, I can't see what you can see unless I have another computer. And if I don't hit the button, I don't know that you can't see me. I don't know that you can't hear me, but I can see your comments over here. So if you have any problems, any questions, I'll try to look over there more often and see what's going on. So we ready to dive into this? You know we are. All right, let's get going. I've got everything set up. Well, almost. Let me get my screen up here for us. There we go. Trippity, bippity, bippity, bop. You're with me. All right. Let me get rid of this so I can see what's going on. All right. As usual, folks, I have taken notes because I can't remember everything. And that's not because I'm old. It's not because I'm senile. It's not because I'm high. I may be all of those, but that's not the reason why. It's just a lot of bloody information, and I do get it confused. So we are going to take a look now at our, get down there, let's get this up over here. A lot of these stocks I have not heard of before. It's nice to see stocks that I haven't seen. And not that that should be a problem, right? There's like 20,000 stocks out there. I know they're not all penny stocks. So we're looking at Our Loop. This is ticker HOUR. Our Loop, yeah, you can see my notes. Our Loop is a U.S. online retailer. They sell in a couple different places online, their own websites, some other websites, and Amazon. They do most of their business on Amazon. They tell us they're even in some physical stores, including Walmart's, but they tell us they make most of their money off of Amazon. No doubt about that. Strong daily volume, but it was real light today. Strong for them, but it was still real light. They got a real low share structure, strong revenues, positive shareholder equity, and financials are the only filing we really need to concern ourselves with. So diving into this, Our Loop is a company out of the United States, finished today a little over $2. She was down about 13%, which was about 31-cent fall. Now, this is a penny stock on the major exchange. She's on the NASDAQ, which is going to give you benefits over OTC penny stocks. First off, there's no transaction fees with major exchange stocks. You can buy them and sell them without any extra fees. You get to trade these pre-market, aftermarket. Folks, some of the biggest profits you're ever going to make are during these periods of time. And you can never, ever do that with OTC. Now, the reason I think they run so hard is there's no halts for being too hot. You can run as far as you can run and nobody's going to interrupt you. There's also a lot more money, a lot more volume, and a lot more rules up on the major exchange. And all of that plays into our best interest. So Our Loop, what is this company about? Well, let's see. I just told you. What did I say they were about? No, we don't want to go there. We want to go here. I'm already losing it. It's been a long day, folks. I had like 15 or 16 options I played today, all on the Russell, and I'm up about $500. But boy, oh boy, it was a day of up and down, up and down. So I'm kind of wired from that day. Online retailer. That's right. And let's get back to it. So taking a look at the news, we've only got one piece of news here. And I did have highlights. Thank you very much. So looking at this news, because this is all we've got, I want to go to the description of the company first because that gives us more information than the actual news does. Our Loop is an online retailer engaged in e-commerce retailing in the U.S. market. It is operated as a third-party seller on Amazon.com and has sold merchandise on its own website since 2013. Our Loop further expanded its operations to other marketplaces such as Walmart, eBay, and Etsy. To date, Our Loop has generated practically all revenue as third-party sellers on Amazon. Now, I have had accounts on eBay. I've had accounts on Amazon. Matter of fact, I've made most money I've ever made in my life was on Amazon. And that's how I got into trading stocks. It provided me with the income to do that. I realized that I could go online with Walmart because they invited me to sell my product on their site as well. But I wasn't going to be able to keep up with demand. I was a one-man operation. I could not do that many. I was barely being able to keep up with Amazon. So all of these businesses, Walmart, eBay, Etsy, that's all online along with Amazon. So they really aren't working in any physical establishments. To date, Our Loop has generated practically all of its revenue from Amazon and only a negligible amount of revenue from its own website in other marketplaces. The company manages more than 100,000 stock products and different categories, and then they list them all, and there's just a wide range of them. Now, looking at their financials, because that's the only news we really got going on here. They're doing business on Amazon. They're selling a lot of products. Ta-da! So net revenues increased by 7.6% to 33 million, jumping from 31 million. They're up 2 million. Net income increased to $500,000 compared to, well, it was close to $500,000. But it's up. It's up. It's not much, but it's up. Cash used in operating activities for the 9 months ended just happened. They're at about $500,000 compared to cash used by other operating activities of $1.2 million a year ago. So that's down. Now, as I was reading this, what I had come across was they were hit hard by the tariffs, believe it or not. A lot of these people that work on Amazon are buying their products overseas. You know, they're buying them from China where they can get them super duper cheap and make real good profit on Amazon. Well, that's probably going to incur tariffs. So they had to restructure their business. Things had to change. They had to tweak some things for it. But they say they're making the best of it right now. And contrary to what you would think, they're actually doing better business now since tariffs started, and they've restructured their way they do business. So what was the relative volume around Hour today? Well, it was way up, right? We've gone from 50,000 shares a day as an average over the last 30 days to 610,000 shares. Now, yeah, that's low. On the NASDAQ, under 1 million is definitely under the radar. But we just kicked this up 6 times. Yeah, 600% increase in volume. So it's starting to do something. That's a good time to consider a stock when it's just starting to move. Share structure, that ain't bad. Outstanding share count, 35 million. That's everything. That's all the insiders, which we have no clue about, and our float. Subtract what the insiders own, we'd know what we have. There's a lot of question marks there. All we do know is that it can't be any higher than the outstanding share count. 35 million is as high as it could be. And it's probably a lot less than that. But even if that's what it is, that's not bad. Anything under 100 million is good to me. Anything under 25 million is a low float. Most people say 10 million. But I'm happy with that. Market cap, right now we're at about 83 million. Is this company making any money? That is the question we are always concerned with. Yes, growing revenues. Over the last 4 years, we've gone from 62 million to 95 to 132 to 138, and the profit has been growing right along with it. Picture perfect here. Quarterlies, 28, 31, 54, dropped. Wow, like a 50% drop there in this one quarter from the end of December. Tariffs, right? There we go. So they had to make an adjustment for the tariffs, lost 50%. Thank you, Trump. But now they're coming back. We're from 25 to 27. Profits are coming back up too. So yeah, it was hard on them, but things are getting back to normal. Balance. Remembering those 3 zeros here, we got $325,000 in the bank. 4 years ago, we had 10 times that much. They've been spending money somewhere. Total assets, we're at about 23 million. Total liabilities is about 16. So we're holding stockholder equity of about 7 million. Companies making strong revenues, making strong profits, even after Trump, and we're holding strong equity as well. So we're not holding a bag here. Everything looks pretty decent. Excuse me. All right, let's take a look at those disclosures. Most recent filing is their financial 10Q, the quarterly report. This 8K goes along with that. This is a little easier read. It's got more words in it than numbers, but they're both lots of information. Matter of fact, if you want to do due diligence on the company, don't go to Google. Don't go through all of their news presses. Don't even bother going through all of their filings. That's a lot of work. Isn't there an easier way to do it? Absolutely. The financials. Folks, that's got every bit of information since they incorporated, however long ago that was. It'll tell you how much the employees get paid, the insiders get paid. It'll tell you everything. Once you learn how to read 110K and 10Q, they're all set up pretty much the same way. You'll be able to know exactly where to go on all of them to find what it is you're looking for over and over again. It gets easier, much easier, and it saves you time. That's what I'm all about. So that is everything for our. Let us now go take a look at that chart. You with me? All right, let's see what. We got to close everything down here. Boom, 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 boom. Hour. Yes, all right. Wow, what a big screen. I'm not used to having such a big screen. As you can see, I have it all segmented out. So what do we got here? Got a lot of bloody lines on the chart. So obviously, I've looked at this before. How far back did I have to go to get these? There's 2 years. I'm going back 5 years. Yeah. All right. So it looks like they came on the market as a SPAC probably. They came on at $10.33. This was a long time ago. This is back in 2022. This is where I had to get my supports and resistances because it has been falling. Now, we've had some huge rips in here. Look at these. Look at these giant jumps. This one right here is going from $1.50. Oh, wow. Up to $7. Ooh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's like 500% rip. So we've got multiple 100% rips here, folks. And then we just had one here. What's that big blue line? I don't know. All right, let's come on down to our, let's look at something a little closer. There's our 4-hour, 6-month view. She's been down here at about $2. Just been hanging out at my last support and resistance down here. She took a jump here from $1.50 up to about $7. Came down to the bottom of this top of this support. And this is where she's been sitting at about $2, $2.07. And right now we have got a 200 squeeze. The 200 haul on the bottom is turning up. The 200 MA on the bottom is, or the top is falling. That's coming in like that. The price is here in the middle, stuck, getting a panic on. And look, folks, once it gets on top of the 50, it tries to run. It tries to go to and through the 200. 8 out of 10 times. When you see the 200 turn up, when did the big bars come in? Right when that turned up. She started to get into motion, got on top of that 50, boom, everything ignited. She went from $2 up to $3. That's a 50% run. Came back down just to the 9-day, starting to work her way up over that 200. Now, she's pierced that many a times. She's come back down. Again, we are on top of that strong support at $2 above our 50-day MA, the solid bar with a rising 200 and a falling 200 MA. To me, this looks like it's ready to bounce and jump again. Oscillators, not in agreement with me. They're showing everything is coming down right now. No hope of it bouncing. Of course, we know it's going to turn around sooner or later, but the chart don't show it. Let's come on down to our 10-day, 30-minute. Downtrend down to that low of $1.76. Slowly worked her way back up. Once she got over that 200, she ignited. Well, of course, anything under the 200 MA is underwater. How fast you move underwater, right? You get up out of the water in the air, the rocket is off and going. And this did take off from that 2 to 3 and right back down to our 200 MA on top of our strong support. This looks like it's ready to bounce. I don't care what the oscillators say. It looks like it's ready to bounce. These oscillators are warming up a little bit. They are actually at the bottom, just about ready to arch. Not there yet, but just about ready. I'm telling you, folks, if you're looking for early entry, this could be a real winner here. So here's our 5-day, 5-minute. She took that rip after hours. She bounced just before the end of the day. She went from that $1.87 up to, wowee, 256. Came down and then ripped after hours. Like I said, after hours, pre-market is when you get your big runs, folks. She came back down pre-market, hitting that 200, couldn't hang on to it, and she's falling underneath it. Now, right now in the 5-minute, it looks like she's going to dip more. I would say there's a good chance she could come down to her low down here. It's possible, but I wouldn't think it to come any further. Right now, everything is cusping up like this. Everything is working out. I think there is some power here. I think there is some strength, but we haven't got any real catalyst, right? All we got is a company selling products online. That's it. Their revenues are improving. That's it. I think we could probably find stocks that have more heat than that. But if you're in it, I wouldn't be too worried. She does look like she is working on climbing back up the charts right now since they've worked out the tariff problem. Ta-da. There you go, folks. That is brought to you by yours truly, John Zidar, a.k.a. the Stock Wizard. All right, let's just fly into another one here, folks. We are going to take a look now at, let's see if you've said anything. Hello, Maximus. Great to have you here. Ruby. Yeah, you probably saw Ruby was on my charts. That was what we changed to put up That was the last stock I looked at before the end of the day. So we are now going to take a look at Nuvve Holdings, ticker NVVE. This comes from Velmore. Thank you, Velmore. Now, Velmore truly is normally interested in the warrants. She gives me the company, but it's the warrant she's interested in. The warrants are coupons that are stock. You can get in, get out, just like you do any other stock. Take your gains, no problem. Don't sweat it. Don't worry about it. So what's the big deal about a warrant? It's a coupon. It's got added benefits to it. And normally they're good for 3 to 5 years down the road. And what this does is it allows you to buy a share of stock at a guaranteed set discounted price then. So the stock may be 50 cents now. The warrant says you can buy a share at $1. That doesn't sound too great. Well, it's good for 3 to 5 years. So 3 years down the road, maybe it's at $20. You've got warrants. You take $1 and a warrant, you give it to them. They'll give you 1 share of that $20 stock. Actually, you don't get the shares. You just get the money. They just give you $20 and put it in your account. How many warrants you got? You can do it for every single one. You can make a ton of money with warrants on the back end if you've got the patience and the foresight. Let me tell you what Warren Buffett does. He's become a billionaire off of warrants. Let me tell you what the man makes, I'm serious, probably $1 billion off of his warrants. So we're going to be looking at the warrant and the company. This is a green energy technology company connecting the world to the grid. Now, they probably came on the market pretty much during COVID with the electric cars, with the batteries and all of this. And they've expanded to taking all of those electric vehicles and the battery storage units and connecting all of that onto the grid and then controlling the electricity, the way it moves so that you get the best use out of it and make the most money or save the most money, whichever way you want to look at it. They have already done 2 reverse stock splits last year. They did a 1 in 40 and they did a 1 in 10. Because they have done that, you multiply these 10 times 40, that's 400. That's constituted as a 1 in 400. You do anything more than a 1 in 200, you don't get compliance time from the NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange when you break a compliance rule. They broke a compliance rule. They get no compliance time, which means they don't get 6 months to fix it. They are in hot water immediately. And it's normally like 10 days. If they don't fix that problem, they're going down to the OTC. Well, they've got a problem. They have actually worked on it. They've already gotten in touch with the NASDAQ. We're going to see that in the news. NASDAQ has given them a decision. They've given them time up until December. They have already had another vote, another meeting. They are or about to, and they're voting on another reverse stock split. I think that one is going to be a 1 in 40. We're going to check that out. The daily volume exploded today. I mean, just off the freaking charts compared to what they normally do. They've got a super low share structure. Put a lot of volume with a low share structure together, what you get is an explosive chart, folks. You get a lot of run on the chart. The catalyst, they've got news that they are expanding their business in Japan. Not that they haven't been in Japan. They've actually got a subsidiary in Japan. I was diving around because I saw NuvoJapan.inc. And it's like, what? Well, I found out they've got 8 subsidiaries. They got ChargePoint, Nuvei Corporation, High Stakes, or something like that. So they've got like 8 different subsidiaries that they're working with. One of them is in Japan. So let's take a look at this company now. NVVE is a U.S. company based out of California. As I said, they are a green energy technology company developing and commercializing vehicle-to-grid technology in the United States, United Kingdom, and Denmark. Currently, we are at about 47.5 cents. They are up over 200% right now. That's what you get with strong volume and a low float. You get rockets. She is up about 32 cents. This is a hot penny stock on the major exchange. She's on the NASDAQ. So let's get some information about this company by taking a look at the news. Highlight it for me. Where's my highlights? All right. It is not giving me my highlights, but I can see them in my mind. Oh, you stink. Yay! I got my highlights. All right. As I said, they were in hot water. NASDAQ reached out to them at the beginning of September, told them their problems and that they had to get them fixed in a hurry or they were going down to the OTC. Let's see. I'm looking for that other piece of news. All right, let's just work up here. I'll find it as we go up. At the beginning of October, the company got another contract from Sourcewell. Sourcewell, I'm not familiar with, but boy, oh boy, they sound big. This is the second contract they've gotten through Sourcewell. Sourcewell empowers 75,000 public agencies. And this is the second contract with Sourcewell. So this is a big door they've just opened up here. There is a lot of potential for business. They've just provided third quarter financial update, which we're going to touch on too. Nuvei to bolster their Danish grid stability with 3 new 2 milliwatt battery energy storage projects. So they're increasing what they're doing in the countries they're working in, the United States, Holland, and the United Kingdom. They are also working in Japan now. Now, I don't know why it sounds like they just got in there because they've got a subsidiary named Japan, Nuvei Japan. But they say Nuvei Japan secures Japan's first aggregation agreement for existing stationary storage batteries. Now, I want to dive into this because it actually gives us a little information about what this technology is that they use. I am not getting my highlights. Why is it giving it to me? All right, let's see if I can find them here. U.S.-based Nuvei Corporation, a pioneer that first commercialized vehicle-to-grid technology worldwide, deploys energy control technologies across various countries to enhance grid stability and flexibility. Its technology is recognized as a mechanism for integrating distributed storage assets to improve the efficiency and reliability of the entire power system. Nuv Japan is committed to supporting the social infrastructure of stable power delivery and is implementing the evolution of the power network through an effective utilization of existing facilities. So they're not just building things, they're actually getting in there and just controlling how the electricity is being gathered and moved out there on the grid. It's beyond me to understand, but it is very important. This is what we need when you have electricity in different places. It's not just coming from the electric company anymore. It's coming from all over the place. All these different companies and people plugging into the grid. And the last piece of news, did I ever find what I was looking for? It's going to be in the filings. That's where it was. PG&E, Nissan, for Meta Energy and Schatz Energy Research Center demonstrate vehicle-to-grid technology in California. So this is expanding. More and more people are going to be looking at this because it is a way to control how the energy moves, but also control how much money you're spending on that energy, which is a big, big deal. So let's dive on over to the disclosures now. All right, we've got a few disclosures here. God, they're supposed to be highlighted. It's supposed to make things easy. Seems to me it was the first and the second. No, the last one. Okay. Why? All right, let's see what this says. Obviously, it's important. The committee board. No, no, it's lying to me now, folks. That is not the one I asked for. Transfer of listing, right. So because they had those 2 reverse stock splits and they did more than 250 shares, they can't get a compliance period. So they've got till December 31st to get their price up over $1. That's their problem right now, is that they're under $1. Now, if they don't get the price under $1, they're going to do a reverse stock split. And I swear, I think that was the second one right here. Let's see if this brings up my reverse stock split. There we go. They are voting on a 1-2. They could do that. That would get them just over $1, right? We're at roughly 43 cents. But who wants to be that close to the shark pit? Let's get away from it. Up to a 1-40. Well, that would take it up to $20. Come on now. I think you're pushing it. Let's find a happy medium in there. Look, the last stock I seen go from $1 to $20 came right back down to $1 and really irked me off because I was in that stock. So we're probably, if we don't get this stock up, me and you, the investors, it's up to us to press this stock up to $1 from 47 cents on December, whatever that was, 15th, 25th, whatever. They are going to do a reverse stock split. They're not going to have any choice, or they're going down to the OTC. Now, myself, they're both horrible. It's hell and a hot rock. That's what you got here. But after losing so many shares, going through over 90 reverse stock splits, losing about $50,000 in stock because the stock falls after these reverse stock splits and compounds the losses, I think I'd rather keep the shares, have them go down to the OTC, fix whatever it is they got to frickin' fix, and have us come back up. Let me keep my shares. That's the way I feel about it now. So let's go take a look now at the relative volume for the company. Look at that. Look at that, folks. From 15 million to 1.3 billion shares. Holy cow. Oh my God. That's like 90 times her normal relative volume. I'm just ballparking it there, but it's up there, folks. Egads. Share structure for NVVE, outstanding. Well, outstanding share count is about 19 million. No clue what the insiders own, so I don't have a clue what we have. Just to say, can't be any more than 18 million. Anything under 25 million in the float is considered low to me. So we're in a great place right now. Market cap is pretty low on this company. We're at about 3 million. Financials, what are they doing? Let's see. Over the last 4 years, they've been bouncing around. They've gone from 4.1 million up to 8 and back down to 5.2. But they've been in the black the entire time. They've been bringing home profits all the time. And look at this. They made 8.3 million back in 2023 and only brought home 1.3 million. Here we've only got 5.2 million compared to that 8, and we got more. We got about a half a million more there. The profit margins have gone up, so we're liking that. Take a look at our quarterlies. Wonder if tariffs are beating their butt. So they have been all over the place. Year ago, we were at 800,000, doubled that to 1.9 million, down to 1.7, back down to 9. Now we're down at $300,000. The last quarter sucks. That's all you can say. The only thing I can say is, again, we're still in the black. We're still bringing in profit. But wow, it's a lot less now than it was before. But in saying that, let me again point out, 300,000 there, 800,000 there, right? This is more than double. Look at our profit. We're getting the same profit with a heck of a lot less money, $500,000 less, and we got the same profit. Can't really complain about that. Balance sheet for the company. In the bank, we got 2 million. Total assets, 17 million. Total liabilities is higher, 19.5. So we get that 2.5 as deficit that we're holding. Not exactly a perfect picture. Not bad, but not great. So basically, that is everything going on here. Did we cover it all? Yeah, we did. So the thing here is that the company is in hot water, right? They're underneath the dollar. We got to get that up. They're going to have a shareholder meeting. They're going to ask for a reverse stock split. That's probably going to be approved. If it isn't approved, If they don't approve it, we're going down to the OTC. That's that. So either way, it's not a real good story. The best ending here is for us to get that price back up over $1. That clears everything up. Outside of that, the company's expanding their business. And right now, electricity is big business. With AI needing all the electricity it's going to get, it's probably going to suck it up from wherever it can get it. And everybody's going to need electricity for everything else, right? So this could be big business. It's new technology that we are now incorporating. So it's something to watch. All right, enough gabby about NVVE. Let's go take a look at the chart. You still with me? Any comments over there? Hive. Hello, Steve. How you doing, buddy? I don't know if we'll get the Hive. I'm trying to talk fast, but not too fast. Steve Steffen. How about that? Steve Steffen. I like that. So we're looking at NVVE. That's a 5-minute chart that looks pretty good. But let's take a look at the yearly chart just so we get some basic information, our 52-week high and low, what sort of trend she's been having, if she likes to take big rips towards that 200. Yes. We've got a downtrend over the last year with a 52-week high hitting in February, just a little over $5 when she pierced that 200-day MA, which has been falling all of this time. She jumped there from $2.30 to $5. So that's over 100% jump right there. And you can see she does like to jump towards the 200. We like that. I'm going to get rid of some of these lines down here. Well, shoot, I'm just going to get rid of all my lines. I can't get rid of some. It's either all or none. We'll get rid of them all. Maybe I'll remember to put them back. So we are coming downhill. We are underneath everything right here, and she starts to work her way up. This is at the end of September. Slowly, and I mean very slowly, it's taking months, but she is actually working her way up. As all these MAs are falling, she is slipping up over top of them. She is now over top of the 9, on top of the 20, and then she slipped down here, hitting this all-time low, maybe 52-week low, 14 cents, and now she's jumping. With the news that came out today, the Japan aggregation, she's jumping from about 14 cents up to 65 cents. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 500% plus gains. All of our oscillators are still climbing. Everything is still going to the moon. Everything is still showing heat. I'm liking that. Let's come on down to our 4-hour for a quick view. Big trend right there. There's a rip through the 200, back down real quick. Another rip when the 200 was going flat. That jump there went from $1.10 up to $3.60. That's over 300%. Back down to our low here. Now it tells us it's 13 cents. It's getting lower. It was 14 cents in the other chart. We had a bounce here right when it was going flat. Here's some excitement showing us that the stock wants to climb. It's showing us. Here, she's banging her head up against it. She's not running from it, but she's not getting over it. Now it is totally flat. No excuse for the stock not to get on top of this. If it refused to get on here, I would be worried. She did jump. She jumped from 21 cents up to 42 cents, a full 100% rip. Then she came down hard, all the way down here to 14 cents, dribbled down to 13 cents. Looks like she hit it again just before she took off, and she has been going since yesterday from 14 cents, hitting a high of 65, pulling back at what? We're about 50 cents right now. And look, she shows signs of strength, climbing. She is still well above the 9-day MA. Now, I don't like to see it that far above the 9-day because it's got to come down. It's a kangaroo. It doesn't fly. It bounces. So it's got to bounce on something. So it does need to come back down. So I'd be watching for that. She's up there at 50 cents. Our 9-day MA on our 4-hour chart is down here at 37 cents. But she doesn't necessarily have to come all the way down to that one. But she does have to come down to one of them. Hopefully we find one on another chart. All of our oscillators are hot, but we have a pullback on our RSI. So she did fall, just there at the end of the day. But everything is strong. Look at that volume. That volume is super strong. Over the last 6 months, we haven't had any volume like that. Coming down to our 1-hour view, not a lot extra to see there. Let's come on down to our 1 minute. Yeah, 1 minute. Look at that. she was doing absolutely nothing yesterday until after the bell. That's when she took off. She was at 15 cents at the bell. And then at 4:30, she was at, wow, 40 cents. What a rip. And from there, she did jump up a little more, but then she just basically went sideways, took another bounce pre-market, jumping there from 33 cents up to 55 cents. Came down at the bell. She actually started to climb again, got up on top of this rising 200, right? So when she came down through it here, even though she's falling, we still have a rising 200, which is a magnet. It will attract the other MAs. It normally will pull the price up, especially if you had this happen the day before, right? People are catching on that something happened, so she starts climbing. Now she's coming back down. She's probably right around this area. Yeah, she's right around that area here. And I expect that this area right here is about where she'll find her happy place until a new catalyst comes along and she starts to run. So I'm not thinking that this has any reason to run right now. She just took a big jump. She pushed it a little far, and now she's come down and she's holding on to what she's found. Outside of that, you can put it on your watch list, but I'm not going to put it on mine. I like the company. I like what they do. I'm going to keep my eye on it down the road. Working with electricity, any company that does that has got my attention right now, since AI data centers are going to be hogs for electricity. We've got to come up with 10 times more electricity than we've ever had before, and we weren't planning on it. All right, let me come on back here. I need to take a breath. My voice is stretching. Let's see what you guys be doing. Not a whole lot over here. Oh, Alan, how you doing? What's this? A cheapie and ECGI in the OTC. Curious as your take, given the recent news release. Funding and acquisitions. Were we just talking about the... I'm not sure which ticker you're talking about there, Alan. Ryle. I was looking at that one today too, JH. I don't know if we'll get to that. I'm trying to think of what the news was I saw. You guys do know I post news every single day. Every single day, pre-market. I don't get all of it all the time, but boy, I'm there. I'm working it between 7:20 and 9 in the morning. You can catch me on Twitter under my name, John Zidar. You can also find me on Discord, and I do have one page I do it on Facebook. But I give you pre-market news, not just the news, but where the price is at, the percentage it's gone up. If it's a low float, I give you all of that every day. Been doing it for years. I also give you aftermarket news. I normally do that between 9 and 10 at night. I wait until aftermarket closes. Then I go get all the news that came out after the bell, and I post that. So if you're looking for somebody to keep you in touch, I'm your man. I'm your wizard. Okay. Let me bring this down. And let's jump on into another stock. Make sure I hit my buttons right. You're not going to get me. I'm paying attention. All right. Our next stock here is SGBX. This comes from Dino Trades. SGBX. This is Safe and Green Holdings Corporation. Now, I've been quite aware of this company for a long time. They seem to have gotten very, very popular during COVID. They were making these little COVID buildings out of cargo trailers. Let me bring this up here. SBGX. I got it wrong. SGBX. How many of you do that? Come on, all of you raise your hands. We all get tickers mixed up. So they tell us here that they use cargo shipping containers. You know, the things you put on the back of a semi-trailer going down the road, the things you see on trains going down, things you see on ships, those big square containers. That's what they build buildings out of. And there was a lot of COVID places being put in parking lots. So you could just drive up and they could check you, you know, without you getting out of the car and stuff. So they're using those containers to build these very unique buildings. But in saying that, they are changing operations right now. They had very strong daily volume, very low float, which means you should get activity on the chart. Revenues have been falling. We got to check Yahoo for the revenues because they don't show up here. Change of operations. I almost missed this. It was hiding inside a filing. It's not in the news. So I almost missed this. You all would not have known it. Also in the filings, they tell us they are increasing their authorized share count. You ready for this? From 75 million to 3 billion. Whoa. Now that's not going to hurt our shareholder value. The authorized share count is their bank account or their warehouse. This is where they keep all their shares, all their warrants. They keep them in there, and then they put them on the shelf when they want to sell them. Well, they could put 3 billion on the shelf, make a lot of money, and then there would be serious shareholder dilution. But they can use those shares for mergers, for bringing in new executives, for all sorts of things. It's an asset. It's equity. It is like cash. They can make use of it. So let's dive into SGBX. SGBX is based here in the United States, finished today just a little over $3, $3.16. She was up 32% today, which is a 77-cent jump. Another hot penny stock on the major exchange on the NASDAQ. So let's get some information about this company. And I think I may want to start. Oh, I hope I need my highlights. There's a lot of freaking, oh, that's not fair. You know, I go through all this work and I don't know why it wants to not show up when I want to use it. Uh-oh. I think it just froze my page. It's always something, isn't it? All right, let's see it move. All right, I'm going to close it. Let's see what we got here. I'm going to have to open up another page. This happens. It gets bound up and I can't see anything. It just won't work for me. So you go away. There you go. Come back down here. SGBX. Got to roll with the punches. We were back here at disclosures. It's moving for me. Thank you very much. It's mighty nice of you. Let's see if I refresh it. If I get I don't. Okay. So let's look at this preliminary. This would be the first one I look at. Okay. This all has to do with a merger that they have got going on right now. Let me jump back. I really wish my highlights would have stuck here. It's irking me off because I do all this homework beforehand. Thank you. So that I can share this stuff with you. We are going to look at the news first. Hopefully we can catch what I'm looking for here. We're going back to September. The company has been doing business with a lot of companies, but they're changing businesses now because of a merger that just popped into my head. Thank you very much. Safe and Green Holdings enters a collaborative framework with OneQuode to advance infrastructure and energy sector technology. They are moving into the energy sector, and we're going to talk more and more about that as we look at the news. The company announces final resolution of litigation between SG Blocks and ED International PVE. I don't know what it is. I didn't dive into it, but it's settled. It's done. It's out of the way. Whew, thank you very much. At the beginning of October, the company announces relocation and consolidation of their operations to a new facility in Conroe, Texas. They said consolidation because they just had a merger. The two companies have moved, and they've moved to Texas because it's more convenient for the new company that just came on board. Safe Green regains compliance with all NASDAQ requirements. We're over $1. The equity is going to be right. Market cap is right. We're right. We don't have any hot water here. Now, all the blue news is about the new merger. They are phasing out of building buildings and going into oil wells, to be particular. SGBX subsidiary Olenox to implement AI algorithm to streamline well site productions and operator input. Problem is, there's no news here about when this happened. I didn't do a deep dive. They did a merger with Olenox, which is a well company, and they have now moved them over to Texas, and they're now working with AI to find the best way to get that oil out of the ground. AI is going to change the freaking world. SGBX subsidiary Olenox Energy announces an aggressive drilling agenda slated to begin the last quarter of this year and expand throughout 2026. So they're exploring right now. As far as I'm concerned, that means they need money. So they better keep the other business and make money until they're actually pulling oil out of the ground. Thank you very much. IBN initiates coverage of Safe and Green Holdings. Now, I thought this was an analyst who is going to be telling us what the company is worth, but it seems to be something else. They tell us here that Safe Green Holdings, a diversified holdings company focused on delivering innovative solutions across infrastructure and construction, energy, healthcare, and environmental sectors, has engaged IBN as a multifaceted financial news and publishing company serving the private and public entities to assist with its corporate communication strategy. I think this company is just here to get information out for the company as best they can, better than the company's been doing, because they want things to change. Safe and Green Holdings is advancing its energy strategy through Olenox Corporation, a subsidiary focused on acquiring and reviving underutilized oil and gas assets. In May of this year, the company added 111 wells across 1,600 acres through an acquisition from Sherman Oil and Gas and Affiliates. Olenox has since mobilized operations in Texas, hence the move, and has reached production levels of 55 barrels per day, with further increases expected from planned well re-stimulations. And I'm not quite sure where I read it, but I did read it. It's here in my head. They did tell us that they are phasing out of the building. They're going to get out of that. Now, I do want to show this to you because, man, it really is interesting. It sounds stupid, but it really is interesting what they do. As I said, they take these cargo containers and they build buildings and they put them together. Now, you know how strong these things are. They're very strong and they can cut them in all sorts of ways and fit them together in all sorts of ways. They have already been using them for these companies here. Mini Cooper, lots of government agencies, Puma, La Costa, NBA, Taco Bell, Equinox. Let me give you some more information here, just so you got an idea. These are pictures of some of the buildings that they build. They can stack them on top of each other. They can make huge conglomerate buildings. Coffee shops. Just one building for these coffee shops along the highways, right? This is something that they have been really slamming out, doing very well, getting some very interesting contracts, some very interesting buildings that they've been building, and they're phasing out of it, going into energy, going into oil. Now, I am only thinking on the top of my head. I haven't seen anything here, but these AI data centers are being built all over the place in the country, and we are finding energy companies are popping up around these AI data centers. They want to be the supplier of energy to these companies. So this could be in play with something going on with some AI data center down there somewhere. I'm just saying it could be worth some due diligence. So let me see. Disclosures. Do we need to look at anything else? I don't think we do. I think I've pretty much covered everything here. Let me look over here and make sure. Very low float, revenues falling. Right, the revenues. We have not covered the revenues. I do want to look at those. Do I have my... I don't. All right, let's bring up Yahoo Finance right there. We are going to look at SGBX financials. Not that it's super important, but you should get a feel for what's going on. Okay. It's a little slow. I can't help that. Come on. SGBX. I gave it to you, right? Did I get the ticker right? SGBX. Yes. But look at this. I do not like this site. I've said that before. SGBX. It's got too much on it, and it moves very slow. SGBX financials. All righty. Looking at our financials, top 5 lines are what's real important, I guess. Total revenues. Looking over, oh my God, looking over the last 4 years from 2021 to 2024, it's dropped a lot. Oh my God, from 38 million to 24 to 16 to 5 million. And the TTM is trailing 12 months. The last 12 months from December to November, we're at 4 million. So it isn't getting much better right now. Maybe that's why they're looking for a change. Cost of revenue, real expensive. They were making money 4 years ago. They were up 2 million. Now we're down 2 million. So they made 4 million and it cost them 6 million to make that. But that ain't the worst of it. It cost them $8 million in operating expenses. Operating income, $10 million. So it's costing them a lot more than the money they're making. They need to do something. They need to change, and they are right now. Taking a look now at the relative volume for SGBX. Boom. It's a big jump, right? That's like 14 times, 1,400% increase in her volume, jumping from roughly 6 million up to 71 million. Is that right? Six? No, that'd be like right. That'd be 1,000% increase. Yeah, it's big. It's 10 times their normal volume. Slow down. Take a breath. Talking too fast, not getting enough oxygen. The brain is going into wrong gears. All right, so we've got a lot of volume today. Share structure for SGBX, super low. Wow. Outstanding share count is like 5.6 million shares, and that's for everybody. Now, they tell us, and this is updated, they tell us that the insiders have about 500,000, which gives us the rest, about 5.1 million. That's excellent. Anything under 10 million is a legitimate low float. And if we have 5 million in the float, and they did, what was it they did? 70 million. So they did, all the shares had to sell 14 times today. Every single share had to sell 14 times. That's supply and demand. So it starts to look like a short squeeze because everything's starting to turn up and go parabolic. It ain't a short squeeze. There's just not enough shares to go around. Market cap for the company, right now we're at about 13.5 million. We already looked at the financials and we've covered the disclosures. I think we tried. Let me take a look at this one. No, that one's too far back. Too far back. So the last thing was this shareholders meeting. They have to do a lot of things for this merger, right? Increase the number of authorized shares. That is going from 75 million to 3 billion. I know you thought I was cuckoo when I said that, but that's where I got it from, right there. There's other information here too. Let's see if I can get this. To approve the merger pursuant to the terms, the company and New Asia Holdings preferred stock, right? They've got to convert. Okay, I don't know what that's going to be. They tell us here that New Asia Holdings was holding a bunch of preferred stock. The preferred stock must be converted into common stock. They say each share of preferred stock, whereby 64 shares of preferred stock converts into 15 shares of common stock. Does that sound right to you? In either case, I'm expecting, normally when you convert preferred shares, each preferred share represents a lot of common stock. One share of preferred shares could be 1,000 of common stock. So normally I expect a big dilution when this happens. So my eyes are watching that too. Do they say anything else here about shares that we need to be concerned with? Not enough votes. No, I think our shares are safe past that point. So that's what's going on. We've got a change of operations, not a change of control, but we do have a new company on board. They are now going into oil. They have lots of oil wells, 111 of them on 1,600 acres, and they are pulling 55 barrels out right now a day, and they're working on getting more. They're still working in construction, but they are phasing that out. Energy is where everybody's moving to. So let's take a look at ticker SGBX. 4:54 is the time. I was telling me, not you. I got to watch the clock. So SGBX, let's pull this back 1 year. That was the 2 year. There's the 2 year chart. Didn't mean to pull it up. Yeah, look at that high. $1,728 2 years ago. No, it wasn't. We got reverse stock splits. All the reverse stock splits get multiplied together. And what they do is instead of putting one big green bar on the chart showing us the price change that day and leaving the rest of the chart alone, no, they multiply the entire chart by the reverse stock split. So if you have a 1 in 40 and a 1 in 10, you have to multiply all the prices by 40. Then you have to multiply all the prices by 10, which means every price on the entire chart, as far back as it goes, is multiplied by 400. So the rest of the time, it's not going to fix. It's not going to revert back. You're always going to have the wrong numbers here. So when new people start trading stock and they go to see what the high was a year ago, and there was a reverse stock split between now and then, they're not going to know it. And they're going to see some stupid, silly price, and they're going to say, oh my God, this stock was $1,000. I'm going to get into this stock. That's false information. Worse than fake news. This is financial, institutional news. It should not be there. Really, really makes me mad. All right, now that I got that off my chest, let's come on down to the 1 day, 1 year. So off of that 2-year fall, you could see she was falling. Here comes our 200-day MA, finally getting close to the price. Price is excited to see it come into its neighborhood. Jumped here from about, don't trust these prices. They've had some more reverse stock splits. This says $33 and it jumped to $22. Well, what I do know is that's like a 400% run. So that's a 400% jump regardless of the prices. She went to the 200 and then came right back down to our 50 where she started from. Perfect. This is all standard operating procedure. Now our 200 is real close, starting to level out, going flat right there. That's when you have your breakouts. That's when the stock should move above the 200 if it has any inclination of climbing. If it doesn't push over the 200 when it's flat, you better start looking for another stock. Something's wrong. This did push up. She got a nice run there. This is going to be too high. $36 up to $98. So we're looking at 250, 300% run on that. She came back down where? To that 50. Boy, she really likes her 50. When she comes back down, it's to the 50. She then rode everything here going sideways until something happened and she dropped hard. She went from, it doesn't matter, $40 down to $13. Boy, where are these reverse stock splits coming in? There's got to be one here somewhere. And off of here, folks, I'm going to get rid of all these lines. I cannot see what the heck is going on down here. Oh, I forgot to put them back on my other chart. Son of a pup. So we've got a drop here, a big drop, $40 down to $1.81. Folks, it really doesn't matter what the price is. That's a huge, huge, huge drop. Oh my God. So if you're looking for a recovery, yeah, we got lots of room for recovery here. But is it really going to get back up to here? God. All right, I'm going to grab my Fibonacci and I'm going to poke this because this is where it would go, but that's a big, big run, folks. There's going to be a lot more supports and resistances between this. Now, I'm only going right there. So when this price gets up to this point, $11.71, this is going to be my supports and resistances it can start running on. But we got a long ways before we get there. So, I'm going to have to come down here and I'm going to have to start drawing these across areas where the price bumps up against it and sits on top of it. That's one right there. Then I'm going to look for another one. And these are going to be where I am going to be getting in and getting out of this stock. Now, right now, she is starting to climb. She was totally flat, which we can't see like that. She is starting to push up on top of that 50-day MA. There's our 200 haul. It's still falling hard. And that 200 MA is way the heck up there. So I'm not expecting a 200 squeeze breakout, but she is getting into that position. And when the 200 does turn up, the 200 haul, if the price is above it, you're going to get a jump. It doesn't have to go all the way to the 200, but you'll get a jump. That is turbo. Anytime the 200 haul turns up with the price above it, you're going to get a bump on that price. That's just the way it works. Our oscillators, lots of volume today. All the oscillators are pushing up and climbing, some of them stronger than others. Take a look at our, let's come on down to our 20-day 1 hour view. So we've got jumps happening as she's falling. We do like to see that. She's jumping here from $3.60 up to $5.50. So you're looking at like a 40% jump here. Same thing here. She's going to and through the 200 and coming back down. She does have a habit of returning back down, which isn't real exciting because she's been flat a few times. Now right here, she is starting to go flat. There it is. Soon as it went flat, she's broke out. Now she's gone from $1.62 up to $4. We are over 100% run here by a long shot. She is pulled back right to our 100% mark, sitting on that 20-day on top of the 9. All of our MAs have crossed the 200. 200 is climbing. It all looks good. This looks like it should continue on right now. Our oscillators, we got lots of volume today. All of our oscillators, the PPO, percentage price oscillator, a lot like your MACD. The MACD uses the whole price. The percentage price oscillator uses, that's right, a percentage of the price. Then we got our RSI, which is at 56, which is okay. What was it I was just noticing? Right, that's what something caught my eye here while I was talking to you. We've got a divergence right here with our MACD. Our MACD is falling. Look, boom, coming down real strong here, where our price really is not falling. That's actually more of an uptrend, right? So right here, we have the opposite going on. We have that going up, this coming down. All of these tools should be going the same direction as the price. If the price is going up, everything should be going up. If the price is falling, everything should be falling. So what does this tell us? This tells us there is a very strong likelihood for an imminent reversal to happen pretty soon. What would that reversal be? In most cases, the reversal is the price following the technical. So it's not that the MACD would swing back up, it's that the price would swing back down. Now, when it does that, it can just grab that MACD and pull it right back up. It can pull a dip, look like a bear trap, actually. It could do that. So she could come down to our very strong dynamic duo, the 50-day MA and our 200 haul, riding here together, very strong. This could come down and bounce off of that, which would probably break this divergence and get it going again. Take a look at our 5-day, 5-minute. She's climbing strong. Our 200 was on an uptrend. She is now falling. At this very moment, she has just started falling, bringing most of our oscillators into that realm. But I can see, let me open this up. Our MACD is actually starting to push up. All of our other oscillators are pushing up. Everything is climbing right now. You can see the aftermarket period is getting a bit strong right now at 5 o'clock. She is starting to push. Our 200 is, well, let's just say everything is in a knot. We've got every single MA right there, the price right there, and all of our oscillators are going up. So right now, looks like she's building up strength. So I'd be putting SGBX on my watch list, change of operations. The problem was the financials. The financials are not good, and I'm not happy with the shareholder dilution coming. It seems to me that that's probably going to occur. So I'm going to watch this before I put any money in it. But there you go. SGBX, not building buildings, going into oil. Take a breather here. Yeah. Everything okay? Let's see. Dino. Thanks. Learned a lot here. Oh, appreciate you. Yeah, the 200 squeeze, I don't know why nobody talks about it. I mean, even under a different name, nobody. I've been trading stocks now since 2018, and I had to learn things. I discovered things on my own. What I discover, I'm sure others have seen, but nobody talks about the pillar or the directional intentional spike or the 200 squeeze. Nobody. Now, I'm not saying I'm a genius. I'm just saying nobody's talking about them. And the 200 squeeze is the most common breakout you're going to find. Anytime stocks are falling, as soon as they change trend, as soon as they start to level out and turn, right there in the cup is where you want to be. And I have found the 200 squeeze is that signal to look for just before the breakout happens. I love them too, buddy. Glad you found it. What you guys talking about here? 3 billion authorized shares. That's crazy. No, thank you. Remember, Dino, those are only authorized. That doesn't mean they're going to go on the market. They may use them to make another deal. They may give some company 1 billion shares to get 20 new oil wells. You never know what they're going to use those shares for. You never know. Another one here. Guys, you are talking. I love this. Yeah, CYCU has been running. Isn't that one of the stocks I got to cover? I think it is. Let's go see. Jumping on up here. You're with me. You're with me. Looking at the next stock we're going to cover. We aren't talking to CYCU. No. Bummer. That was a good stock. Okay. We're going to look at this one. This came from Mark Ryan. Mark had a couple stocks in his head. This is the first one he mentioned, the first one I saw, the first one I did the due diligence on. When I saw the second one, too late. You got yours. This is the one, MYNZ. This is Maine's Biomed. Boy, I forget that so bloody quick. Sorry, folks. Get up there. We want that and we want that. MYNZ. Thank you very kindly. This company develops and sells in vitro diagnostic tests for early detection of cancer in the United States. I'm going to say it. They sell poop tests. That's what they sell. Little bits of cardboard that you smear your feces on and then you mail it back to them. They test it, look for those bad signs, and they can tell you if you have cancer or not. Now, I think that's really weird. I know this is a sideline, but the United States Post Office says it is illegal to send feces through the mail. Now, I know we send fertilizer through the mail, and that's poop. And I know this stuff is all sent through the mail. That's poop. So how can they say you can't send poop through the mail? I'm just saying. They had very strong daily volume today. Super low float. We like that combination, right? And we've got no current filings to consider. Save us some time here. So the company, MYNZ, Maine's Biomed, is based in Germany. I was unaware of that until this very moment. How much DD did I do? Maine's Biomed develops and sells in vitro diagnostic tests, as we said. I'm not going to go to their website. I don't think we need any more information. I think we've got a clear picture there, probably too clear. So let's get some information on the news. What we got going on in news? Hey, I got my highlights. How about that? The company announces registration of their Colo Alert. That's what they call that test in the United Kingdom. They also announced commercial launch of that test in Switzerland. Wow, they do get around, but then so does cancer, right? And you got to remember, they're in Germany. The company is to present information on colorectal cancer screening. They also are presenting information on pancreatic cancer project. They're working with all kinds of cancers. They're taking this information around the world to lots of different conferences and summits, which is what the next three pieces of news are about. So they're just spreading the news about what it is they've got so that people can get tested early and take care of the cancer before the cancer takes care of them. Bottom line. Taking a look at the disclosures. You're not even highlighting anymore for me. What a pain in the butt. I'm going to have to take notes. Just put notes over there. So let's see what we got here. October 3rd, the company entered into an equity distribution agreement with Maxim to sell some of their shares from time to time. Why do they do that? I do not know. An offering of up to $10 million. Now, that is not new shares going on the market. That is an insider, Maximus. I don't know who they are. They own a lot of the company stock, and they want the company to sell the shares for them rather than just putting them on the open market and selling them. I don't know why they do that, but it doesn't add to the share count. So we're not getting any shareholder dilution there. And these are all over a month old, so I'm not going through any more of those. Isn't that what I said? We didn't have to check them? You were supposed to remind me of that. Oh, speaking of reminding, I forgot to put my lines on my chart again. All right, let's take a look at the daily volume for this company. Over the last 30 days, she's been under the radar at 377,000 shares a day. Ooh, today she blew that away. We are at 11.5 million shares. Share structure for the company, it's low, super duper low. I shouldn't say super duper. It's super low. Super dupers for anything under 1 million. We have an outstanding share count of 2.3 million. I do believe there is a minimum criteria on the major exchange. I thought it was 15 million or 1.5 million. I have heard a half a million. So in either case, there is a minimum criteria. So it can't be any lower than that. If it is, they're going to have to put more shares on the market just to pick that up. Or they could be thrown down to the OTC for not having enough shares in the float, right? How silly is that? So I don't know how many shares the insiders own to subtract from that 2.3 million to tell me how many shares there are. Now, I'm not really worried about them not meeting the minimum criteria. Who the hell cares? I have never, ever seen a company go down to the OTC because they didn't have enough shares. All I know is that it's going to be super low float, which is going to make the stock move fast on the charts. That's all I'm interested in. So it's looking great to me. Market cap right now is only 3.1 million because we don't have a lot of shares. Take all those shares, multiply it times the price. That's your market cap. Easy peasy. Financials for the company. They making any money? Yep. 4 years ago, they were doing about $500,000. The last 2 years, they've been doing about $750,000, a little more than that. And they've been doing about the same in profits. Right now, we're doing about $500,000 in profit. Everything is copacetic, not moving much, but they're not in any trouble. Quarterly, not getting any information there. I'm sure the quarterly reports are out there. We just don't have them because they're an international company. Taking a look at the balance sheet for the company, remembering the 3 zeros, we got 6.2 million in the bank, about 13 million in assets, 7 million in liabilities. So that gives us about 6 million in stockholder equity. We're doing pretty good here. And did we cover that news already? We did. So everything is copacetic on this end. We just need to look at that chart now, right? Trying to move a little faster. Let's get rid of you. You're the wrong place to be. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. MYNZ. Let's give you some more chart. Kick this back a year so we can get some general information. I want to go back 2 years just to see how bad she's fallen. Not much. So that's 2 years. We're at $71. I ain't buying it. I'm thinking there was a reverse stock split somewhere in there. Year ago, we're at $11, but it has been a downtrend for an entire year. From that $11, our 52-week high on that side of the chart, we come all the way down to this side of the chart for our low at $1.21. Is she actually trying to climb? Well, no. Yes, she's in a 200 squeeze. And I think she's really, I'm liking this 200 squeeze. That's looking tempting. All right, we got a rising 200 haul, a falling 200 MA. Price has been under the 50. Can't get any power till you're on top of the 50. It's a wet wick. Think of it as a wet wick under the 50. When the price gets on top of the 50, the wick is dry. When the 200 haul is rising, that is a flame. That's a flame. And when the price gets up on top of the 50, the wick is dry. The flame hits the wick. Boom! It launches. It goes to and through the 200. I say it every day because it's the truth. You can make so much money with this play. This is setting up right now for a perfect 200 squeeze from $1.55 to $2.70. And normally, when it breaks to 200 in these 200 squeeze, it doesn't just go to the 200. It goes through the 200, somewhere up here. Now, don't get greedy. It's not going to be a breakout. It's a breakthrough. It's going to come back down, either bounce on the 200 or the next MA underneath it. So take your gains on the breakout. When she gets up over top of that 200, take your gains. Don't worry about how much further she's going to go. And if I'm wrong, she keeps going, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I made you some money. Looking at our oscillators, everything is climbing. Everything looks good. The only thing that's weird here right now is that our PPO is underneath. She has been climbing, right? But our blue line needs to be on top of the red line. She has been primarily under it. Like here, the price under the 50, right? That's what you got going on here. Once this gets up over top, this is going to be over top, and I think we're going to see an ignition. I think she's going to take off, folks. Let's jump on down to our 20-day 1 hour view. Let's get some more chart. So really, she's going sideways. Let me grab my line here. right here to right there. She's just going sideways. She's had some ups and downs, but at the end of the day, the end of the 20 days, she's pretty much here. Now, she has fallen after taking this big rip from $1.20 to $2.10. You're looking at a 90% run. She came all the way back down to our 50-day MA. She is bouncing off of that. We've had a wick come down and hit the 200 haul. I love that. I do. I love to see a wick hit the 200 with the price sitting on the 50. Boing! Pogo stick, slingshot. You get the drift. It's passing through. It's just going to keep on going. So I think it's hit the 200. It's landed on the 50 as it's climbing. I think this is ready to go, folks. I don't see a lot of catalysts. I don't see any reason for her to really be running, but she is grabbing some momentum. You can see the volume in the picture today compared to the last 20 days. There's nothing there. All of our oscillators are pushing up. They're cool right now, but they have been really cool for a while. And only here in the last couple of days have they woke up. So for whatever is going on with MYNZ, and maybe I missed something. Maybe there's a comment over here. I missed something. CYCU has a warrant. Did we, Fillmore. I just saw the comment. I'm having a brain fart right now. So I'm thinking MYNZ needs to be on your watch list. Now, let me check something here. Velmore. Let me see. There's Underdog. There's Velmore. Velmore. Oh, you know what? Velmore, while we're here, NVVE. We never talked about your warrant. We never talked about your warrant. And that's what you were really interested in, right? Folks, we started to talk about the warrant. Warrants are a lot cheaper than the stock. And when the stock gets hot and starts running, goes 10, 20%, you might see a little bump on the warrant. But if the stock gets hot, if it goes 50%, 100%, your warrant can get silly. You can get multiple hundreds of percent, even thousands of percent out of a warrant. Now, this is the warrant. That is the stock for the company. What did we have here? We were at 200% gains. Let's see what the warrant is. I have no clue. So let me see if the warrant comes up right there. Just the W on the end gives us a warrant. She's ended the day at 55%. Actually, that was back here. Let's see. She was at, call that about a penny and a half. And she got up to 5 cents. Penny and a half to 5 cents. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. So you're looking at about the same, about 300% run we got on the warrant. But it was a lot cheaper, right? The stock, let's see what that stock was. The stock was at 47 cents. Wow. Wow, that's a cheap stock. And the warrant went up to 5 cents. Basically, it just dropped some more. So that's about right. I see that most penny stocks have warrants normally around 8 to 12% the value of the stock. Stock's at 50 cents right now. The warrant hit 5 cents. That's about 10%, right? So she had a nice rip and she has come back down. Now, that's why you take your gains with warrants, because they don't stick around. Now, if the stock holds its price and it looks like it's just going to keep climbing, it goes from 5 to 10 to 18 to 23. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that warrant's going to climb. And your 2-cent warrant here could go to 30 cents, could go to 90 cents, could go to $3. I'm not BSing you. I'm not blowing smoke up here or whatever you're wearing. I'm not doing it, folks. That actually happens. You can make serious killings on warrants, but they are normally holds. You hold them until they pop, and you don't want to put a lot on them. You don't, because you never know when they're going to happen. The other thing you need to concern yourself with is that there are expiration dates on warrants. This one expires March 2026. So you've got to make sure you're getting into warrants and getting out of warrants, unless you're planning on holding those warrants and taking advantage of making money on the other end, which is a whole new way to make money. But you got to be patient for that, and you got to have a plan. So NVVEW, she's coming down hard and fast right now. She started here at 1.7 cents, hit a high of damn near 5 cents, came down in the day, hit that 20-day MA. She was struggling to stay on top of that. Could not do it. Once she broke the 20, pretty much that's it. Everybody knows she's going to fall at least down to the 200 haul and the 50. That's just the way it works. So if you break the 20, it's going down to the 50 and the 200. Now you got to wonder, is it going to bounce? This doesn't look like it's bouncing. It looks like it's going to come all the way back down to the 200, which isn't a bad day's work. She's going to end up here at 2 cents. She started off at 1.7. It's up, right? So again, that's why we take our gains. Last thing I want to tell you before I leave this, when you go to sell, let's say you're watching your warrant, you got in at 2 cents, your bid is at 2 cents. Let's say your ask is at 2 cents. 2 cents, real easy. All of a sudden it jumps and it goes to a nickel, just like that. Boom. So you've got gains to take. You go to sell, you sell, and you get your money right back without any gains. What happened? The bid didn't change. The ask and the bid will spread. You're going to have a big spread until multiple purchases happen. If it goes from 2 cents to 10 cents, it's going to end up somewhere at 6 or 5 after multiple people bring it down, buying at 9 cents, 8 cents. Finally, this will come up and be somewhere in the middle. So don't think you're going to go straight from 2 cents to 10 cents just because the price jumped. Don't go selling it immediately. Check the bid. Make sure you're getting the price you think you're getting. I'm telling you this because it's happened to me. I got so excited to grab my 1,000% gain that I wasn't looking. I just hit all the buttons, and when it was done, I just had my money back. No gains. And I'm scratching my head. What the hell? Why did that happen? The bid never changed. So pay attention to that bid. Okay, I think that makes up for that blunder. Am I forgiven, Velmore? Sorry about that. I know you were probably cursing me. He did it. He forgot it. He forgot it. Yes, CYCU has warrants. Yeah, most of your major exchange stocks have warrants. Keep that in mind, folks. Put a little sticker on your computer or your phone or whatever it is you use. If a major exchange stock is running hot, go look at the warrant. You can probably make money on the warrant for less change. You don't have to put a lot of money out to make that money, right? Let's see what you got here. All right. I love to hear people looking at charts, comparing charts. All right. What time is it? 5:22. I'm going to move here, folks. I got another stock here ready that we can look at. So let's not dilly-dally talking. Let's get up here. I'm trying, folks. I am really trying. The brain is going. Okay, what do we got here? CYN and GRLF. All right, I'm going to do both of these. I'm going to get to them. We're not going to get to any other stocks, but I did do the due diligence on these. So we're going to look at CYN. This came from Lee. Thank you, Lee. This is Sing Incorporated. They develop autonomous driving software, but not for cars. Not for cars. They have very low daily volume, very low share structure. Their revenues are struggling right now. Strong shareholder equity, though. That's a good thing. And no filings to consider. Let's get CYN up here. This is Singe. I don't know. Choose your name. So this is based out of California. This company deals with forklifts and what we like to call tuggers. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. This is a tugger. It basically hauls your stuff for you. It's a train, right? It's the locomotive. And then you know what a forklift is. And these run autonomously. You give them jobs to do, and they go out and do them automatically without you having to pay mind to them. And there's a lot of factories and manufacturers using these. I've posted a lot of news on this company. You'd be amazed how many companies are using these. And it's funny. Yes, jobs are being lost because of this equipment coming in. But the people that were doing these jobs have gotten better jobs, making more money, putting their brains to work rather than just their hands and their back. Now, the neat thing about this product is that it doesn't have to be their equipment that you're using. They do sell a forklift. They do have a tugger, but you can incorporate their software onto your equipment. How about that? So I think this is a really neat product. I think this is going to be popular amongst all the factories. I think everybody's going to want to have this. No doubt it. So what news have we got to talk about? Well, nothing's highlighted here. Did I even get to it? That all looks brand new to me. I don't think I got to any of it. All right. Cinch secures its 23rd U.S. patent modular sensor system for automated guided vehicles. So they got lots of patents for what they're doing. This is their technology. The company's CEO outlines new pillars of its growth strategy. We haven't got time to dive into that, but if you want to know about this company, where they're going, CEO is going to let you know. I love it when the CEO tells me his future plans. That's great. The company deploys Drive Mod with C&J Pepsi, the largest independent Pepsi bottler in the USA. Drive Mod is the tugger. That's that locomotive. You can put lots of cars behind it, and it can take your stuff wherever you need it to go. And they're working with Pepsi, for God's sake, right? Right? You're getting name brand companies using their products. Everybody is going to want to use this stuff. It's going to be standard operating equipment. New case study. Sing manufacturing customer US Continental definitely recommends Sing's Drive Mod Tugger. Again and again and again. It's a great tool. It is something everybody's going to use. There's just no reason not to. Revolutionizing operations. How customers are benefiting from Sing's Drive Mod Tugger. This just came out at the end of October, so we've got no news for November. Nothing here to have the stock running or moving right now. She finished today at $3.65, a penny for every day of the year. She dropped about 5.1.2% today, which was about 20 cents. This is a penny stock on the major exchange as well. She may have a warrant. Let's see. Nope, I don't see a warrant. Oh, my page isn't moving. I'm locked up again. All right, well, I could fix that. I'm working hard. My computer's working hard. Good thing I don't lock up. I go off center up here. No, not CYN. CYN. Thank you very much. And we'll get rid of this dead dog up there. And what were we looking at before we got rudely interrupted? We were looking at the news. Drive Tugger. We looked at, Tugger. What else were we looking at? I'm lost here. 5, NASDAQ. Right, we were looking to see if she had a warrant. I'm catching up. Normally the warrant is listed over here. That's what I was looking for. I see no warrant for this major exchange stock. So I don't believe they have one. Let's take a look now at the disclosures. 8K came out here just a week ago. This is a financial or a material change. I like to always poke my head into these just to see what's going on. Previously issued financial statements. This goes with a financial statement. There's going to be a lot of information here. This is almost a month old. This is talking about compensation for certain insiders. So I really don't see anything here. And if I remember correctly, I think I said that. No filings to consider. So looking at the relative volume for the company. Oh, that's down, right? Going from 1.1 million down to 200,000 shares today. Ouch. Share structure for Sing. It's low. Outstanding share count is 7 million. Subtract whatever the insiders own. I'm sure they own something in this company. That's going to give us our float. Not knowing what it is, all I can say is it won't be any higher than 7 million, which is a low float. So when they start moving some shares over here, we'll start getting the stock to move. Taking a look at the financials. All right, I said they were struggling, right? Over the last 4 years, they had $262 million thousand dollars in 2022, jumped to 1.4 million the next year, and then fell down to 368,000 with no profit. Now, I've been seeing a lot of contracts. I've been seeing a lot of companies take on their equipment and their software. So why ain't they making money? I don't get that. Taking a look at their quarterlies. Not much money in the bank, but then they rarely do. $33,000. Total expenses, expenses. What are we looking at here? My bad. Whew, I'm moving too fast. Slow down here, John. All right. So we're at, she has been falling for the quarterlies bad. We started off at $8,000 a year ago, got up to $306,000 at the end of 2024, and now we're down to $33,000. We are pulling in profits of $16,000. How do you stay in business though? Balance sheet for the company. All right, this is money in the bank. 31 million. That's good. We like that. 56 million in assets, only 9.5 million in liabilities. So we are holding really strong stockholder equity in this company. Though they're not making very much money, they've got a lot of equity hiding somewhere, and we get it. $46.5 million equity. So you're definitely not holding a bag in this company. She may not be doing very well right now, but she ain't no bag. And I do believe that covers everything information-wise. My brain's not connecting right here, but I think that does cover it. So let's go take a look at the chart for ticker CYN. Not. Try that. Okay, that's the hourly chart. Pull this back to a year. Ooh, the hourly chart look. Oh, you can't see that. Oh, there you go. Why did that take so long to come up? I see it now. All right, obviously we've got a reverse stock split here. It was a big one. Wow. This happened in February of this year. It was a 1 to 150. For every 150 shares you got, they gave you one share. And they kicked the price up 150 times. So if it was $1, they kicked the price up to $150. If it was a penny, they kicked it up to $1.50. I don't know what it was. In either case, this isn't the real 52-week high, right? It says it's $1,300. No, you're going to have to divide that by 150, which is going to put it under $1. So it was under $1 back here, whatever it was. From this point, when she was underneath the 200-day MA, she has been falling hard and fast. She went from there to there, whatever those numbers were. 1,300 down to $15. 1,300 down to $15. Oh my God. Oh, shite. Now, I have drawn a line there at the bottom. I don't know why I drew it, but that is a support and resistance that I depend on. I'm going to get rid of this Fibonacci, just too many lines on that, but I'm going to keep that yellow line. So as you can see, she's just been going sideways for a very, very long time. Here's our 200 catching up to the price. Do we see a breakout? No, no breakout. Here's our 52-week low of $3.58. Ouch. Let's come on down to our 4-hour. There's that 200 coming out of the sky all the way down to the price. And what did the price do? Absolutely zilch. Okay, it did something, but not a whole lot. She just dribbled over the top of that and then came right back down. Now here, it started to climb. She ripped. I don't know why she pushed. I don't even know if this is the right price. I think these are the right prices. We are at $4.50. Whoa, whoa, and went up to $41.50. So you're looking at, oh God, 900% run. It's actually more than that. Huge rip. And it came all the way back down. Where did that land? I want to see. Came down to our 9-day. She started climbing and pushed hard there, folks. You can see that was a rip. That was a serious rip. She then came down to this support right here, a new one. And when she broke that, she came down to her 200, and she's been laying on that 200 ever since. Let's come on down now and see where we're at with that. Yes, sir. All right, let's come on down to our 1-hour. Downtrend. $5.36. That was 20 days ago. She has been pushing downhill to our $3.58, looking like she is still pushing down. She is tagged on to all of the MAs, the 50, the 20, the 200, rejected by all of them. Fell underneath the 9-day. Full bars now are underneath the 9-day. We just hit our 52-week low. Now, right now is a time to watch the stock. On that 52-week low, we want to see if she bounces. I'm coming down to the 5-minute. We want to see if she bounces. That is a 52-week low, right? A whole year right now, we just witnessed the lowest this stock has ever been. If this stock has value, there are shoppers that look for 52-week low bubbles. First thing they'll do is run to the financials, and they know exactly where they're going, and they're going to see if this company has value. And if it does, it's undervalued. They will jump into this stock right now and not only bounce, but push the stock up because there's lots of 52-week low bubble shoppers. So we're watching for a bubble to jump here. It's hit it. What is this? 5 minutes? Let's look at the 1 minute. I ain't got 5 minutes to wait. Oh boy, oh boy. And right now, we just went over it. So we're tied right there. We've hit it twice. She hit the low. She bounced. She hit the low. She needs to bounce. She's got 45 seconds to get her butt moving. Now, if she does not bounce, to me, that is a very strong signal that the company hasn't got a lot of value. I don't dive deep into financials unless I'm going to be holding the stock for a long time. So I don't get a lot of information on the financials outside of what you see me looking at because I don't hold stocks very long. But my key signal is when I don't see a stock jump off of a low bubble, that just told me a lot of effort I saved by not going through the financials looking for value. So right now I'm watching it, but I'm not seeing it jump. There we go. We just had a minute go by and we had nothing happen. Nope, not even another bar. We didn't even get another bar. So right now she is on a downtrend, long downtrend, short downtrend, 52-week low, struggling financials. It's not looking good right now. She needs some serious catalysts. The contract with Pepsi just isn't enough. We need to get a contract with a company that's got 20 factories or something, and they get a whole bunch of equipment. That's what we need. So that takes care of CYN. Now we are going to rip on over to the last stock I've done my homework on. This comes from Stephanie Spear. Thank you, Stephanie. This is GRLF, Greenleaf Innovations. GRLF. Gotcha. GRLF. This is a marketing and distributing company for handmade premium cigars manufactured out of Nicaragua. Now, you know cigars out of Cuba are illegal. Nicaragua, you're on the border. I'm not saying country-wise, but people-wise. For all we know, they could be coming from Cuba to Nicaragua to us. We really don't know. But that was a consideration by the government. We're going to take a look at that here in a minute. Very low daily volume. Too many shares outstanding. Oh my God. And growing revenues and shareholder deficit, which means we're holding a bag. I don't like that. So let's take a look at Greenleaf Innovations. This company is based out of Florida. We're not going to go to their website because it's cigars. What do you need to know about cigars? Greenleaf Innovations, a Florida corporation, is an emerging growth company engaged in the marketing and distribution of handmade premium cigars manufactured out of Nicaragua. The company strategically imports and distributes handmade premium cigars packaged whole leaf tobacco to cigar lounges, smoke shops, C-stores, vape shops, blah, blah, blah. They sell them to the United States and anywhere else in the world that will buy their cigars. So let's get some information now about this company. She finished today at the lowest the stock can actually be on the open market, 0001. You can't go any lower, folks, not on the open market. If a company goes to the expert market, you go there because you're late on financials. You didn't get them in time and you're late. They just take you off the open market, put you in the expert market. Nobody can buy or sell your stock while you're there. You'll come out as soon as you get your financials caught up. But while you're in the expert market, the stock price will fall to 401, 501. I'm telling you, folks, it's just incredible. You can buy like 10 million shares for $100 if they'd let you, but they don't let you. If the price was a nickel, it will fall below 0001 when it goes on the expert market. But when it comes back on, it has to be at least 0001. So we're sitting on the floor right now. I'm going to presume that you would have to probably pay 0002 to buy this stock, which is going to give somebody 100%. Those people who stock market makers and brokers, they actually buy stocks down on the OTC. You're going to help them make money if you buy it at 0002, which will give you 500,000 shares for $100. Now, I normally don't look at stocks anything less than 0005 because 0005 and under just don't go anywhere forever. They just stay down on the floor. They're long holds, whether you like it or not. Once you get to 0005, they get a little bit of warmth, just a little bit. You're coming into spring, a little bit of thaw, and it starts to move. 001 is where I start to look at stocks. That's where most people start to consider them, and that's where I like to buy them. 001, great price. As soon as it hits 002, it's 100% gains for me. Woo-hoo! So let's get some information on this company. Looking at the news. Yeah, they've actually got news, believe it or not. You wouldn't think they would. Going all the way back to January, that's where the news starts here. The company strengthens its retail presence and updates its growth in 2025 with more key partnerships. Now, I have no idea who their partnerships are. They're all these little places that are buying their cigars, right? January 27th, the company celebrates a landmark U.S. Court of Appeals ruling on the FDA regulation of premium cigars. Now, we've got a lot going on in this country right now. Hemp. We have people selling hemp products that can get you high because there was 0.3% THC in hemp. We had the Farm Bill come through. There was such little THC in it, we didn't worry about it. We were going to make hemp products and just get on with life. Well, there were a lot of greedy mongers out there who leached out the little bit of THC out of that hemp, and they got people high with it. So now the government wants to shut down all hemp production until we get that fixed. You can actually go look that up, folks. There's information out there about that. Well, as I was saying, they could be importing cigars from Cuba, which is illegal to do, but they could be being sneaky about it, right? Send them to Nicaragua, which sends them to us. Well, the FDA was getting their nose in there. They wanted proof. They wanted this. They wanted that. And the court said, cut it out. You don't have any reason to bother them. You just have suspicion. You just think that. You don't know nothing. So they said, leave them alone unless you have evidence. So now they have the green light to do whatever it is they're doing. I don't know what it is they're doing. We got more key partnerships that they're talking about. They're getting more places to sell their cigars. The company applauds the projected $5.4 billion growth in flavored cigars. You got to be kidding me. The federal government just took flavored vapes off of the market. They wanted us to smoke vapes, which have nicotine in them, but we wouldn't get the carcinogens, all them sick poisons that cause cancer. We wouldn't get the nasty tar and the disgusting ash. None of that. And then we got flavors, so we wouldn't have to deal with tobacco. We don't want the tobacco. So all of us were dealing with nice, juicy flavors. Then they took them away because they said they were dangerous. And I'm not going to get into why they thought they were dangerous. It has to do with THC oil, which has nothing to do with each other. And still they did that. Now they got cigars that are flavored. This is going to be a huge market. Now, I don't know what sort of flavorings they're talking about. I myself bought a cognac dipped cigar in Las Vegas when I went to a bachelor's party. It cost me $48. And I don't even smoke cigars. But I was being the big guy there at Las Vegas at the strip club. Yes, that's where we were at. And it was the best smoke I've ever had. Oh my God, a cognac dip cigar. Mwah! Oh my God, I kept that little nub for weeks. Just kept sucking on it. It was so good. So we are looking at flavored cigar markets opening up to $5.4 billion growth. This company could be in line for something. They're talking about their exceptional revenue growth, their revenue growth, their revenue growth. That's all they're talking about now in the most recent news, which takes us up to August. That's it. That's as far as the news goes. We got nothing else here, which may explain why the stock isn't moving. We don't have any catalysts. Take a look at the disclosures for GRLF. We got an annual report here. Annual reports are your financial filings. They call them disclosures. Now, what you need to know about OTC, when you're down here on the OTC ID, which is the basement, that is the lowest floor you can be on and not be in trouble. That's like the pinks. You have no validated information here. You don't get financials audited. You don't have any filings. The best you get are these two green ticks, a verified profile and a verified transfer agent. And I tell you, look for those when you look at these OTC IDs. All you get is news, hype. And that's what killed me. I lost a lot of money when I first started trading because I believed the news. The news gave me hype that was going to happen 3 months from now. So I waited 3 months. Well, in 2 months, it all fell apart and I lost all my money. So you got to be very, very, very careful with these stocks. This is all you get are filings for your concrete information, and they don't have any. Your financials are not audited. They're just given to us by the management. They're just numbers of money they got, money they spent, blah, blah, blah. That's it. With the annual report, they have to have an attorney's letter. The attorney doesn't verify any of the numbers. It just verifies the address, the insiders, that stuff. Without an attorney letter, the annual report is no good. It doesn't count. So if they don't get an attorney letter out with the annual report, they can end up on the expert market. So we have to watch for that. They just came out with their annual report here a couple days ago. No, a month ago. A month ago. And I do not see an attorney letter here. So as far as I know, we still get attorney letters. I know they changed this to OTC ID here recently. Pinks always needed attorney letters. I'm presuming IDs need attorney letters too. Not seeing one here yet. I would think we need one coming. So I'd be looking for that, or I'd be looking for this to possibly go down to the expert market. Now, they do have a warning, a 15-day countdown if your stock is going down to the expert market. I can't remember what they call it. Doggone it. It'll be right here. Right here. It'll be in yellow, and it'll catch your attention. It'll say something like warning or expeditious or something. When you see that, you've got to come over here to the quote. Come here to quote, and underneath here, eligibility, right here, in this information, right here underneath this, it will tell you the exact day that they're going to the expert market. December 21st, Tuesday. It'll tell you what day they're leaving the market. And you will see stupid people pushing the stock up before it goes down to the expert market. And unless they bring out their financials, there's no hope. It's going down to the expert market. And they'll stay there until their financials come out or that attorney letter comes out. I do believe that's everything about this stock. Did I cover it all? Let's see. No, that's just all the information, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, what do we got down there? Filings. I'm not used to seeing filings on OTC ID. An AW root beer. This is an offering that they withdrew. They just said they withdrew an offering there. So that's good. And that was in August. So we've got nothing here to consider recent. So let's go take a look now at the relative volume for the company. Big drop. Huge drop going from 172 million down to 22 million. Yikes. Look at the share count. What is up with that? 16 billion shares on the market. To me, I would think a newbie just opened this company up. I had the chance to open up a company, and they asked me how many shares I wanted. I was so naive. I knew nothing about the share count. I didn't know how that worked. And it looks to me like he just chose a huge number. The more shares I have, the better, right? Well, no. He's got 16 billion shares on the market and 50 billion shares they could put on the market. This just looks like inexperience to me. Looks like amateurs. Don't know what the heck they're doing. All these numbers are ridiculous right here. So right now, we've got 16 billion shares, and that is the float. How exciting is that? Not very. Market cap for the company, we're at 1.6 billion, $1.6 million, with the price only being 0001. That's ridiculous. Financials, are they making any money? They actually are. Their revenues are growing. They're just not growing super fast, super big, but they're growing. And when you start at zero, any growth is good. So we were here in 2023 at $200,000, and they got to keep 116,000 of that. Cigars must be cheap, eh? Big markup on them. 2024, $500,000, and they got to keep $250,000. Quarterlies, I'm not quite sure why we've got missing quarters here, but we go from 328 to the first quarter in 2025 of 359, jumping to the next quarter in June to just under 600,000. So they're over $500,000 in a quarter now, not a year, in a quarter, and they just got to keep about 400,000 of that. That's good profit for cigars. Taking a look at the balance sheet. In the bank, we got about $122,000. Total assets, 241,000. Yeah, I'm used to millions. No, very little assets. They don't keep cigars for very long. They go stale, you know. Total liabilities. Oh, we got, wow, more than I thought. $3 million in liabilities and only $250,000 in assets. So we, the investors, are holding $2.8 million in stockholder deficit. To me, it kind of looks like a startup company, like they just got going. That's why I was saying amateurs. Way too many shares. You know, it just doesn't look like they know exactly what they're doing here. And it looks like they just got business going. They're getting new places to buy their cigars, you know, new companies. The revenues are picking up. Not fast, but they're growing. Things look like a starter company is getting going. That's all I can really say about this. I don't see a lot to get excited about, especially at that price. Now we're going to go look at this chart, and I'm not expecting a whole lot from the chart. It's probably going to be flat, look like a barcode, look like a picket fence. Let's go back a year. You ready for this? What I tell you, barcodes, right? Picket fences. Boom, 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 boom. Now, what's strange here, let me see if I can show you the difference real quick. I'm going to change this to the candle. All right, let's see if my candle shows it. No, there's not a lot of difference. This is the candle. The candle shows half lines and full lines. I think I can see a little more information when I use the Heikenashis. The Heikenashis don't show just half bars, right? I see these red bars rolling around, where the candles, it's just here or there. That's it, here or there. Because when you're down here at the 000s, there is no middle ground. You go from 0001 to 0002 to 0003. There is no middle ground. Now, you will see the bars stop in the middle, but that's pressure. That's stuff going on down here. And I read that. So right now, everything looks like she is rolling back down. You got your biorhythm rolling. She is rolled up, down, up, and now she's coming back down. And look at these wicks. These wicks are going all the way to the absolute floor of zero. I never see a stock hit zero. Not unless it's about to go to the expert market. I'm just saying. So over the last year, as high as she got was 0002. She has been on the floor all this time. And I can come down to anything else. It's not going to be anything different. That's a 5 minute. It's not happy. There's your 0002 and your zero. And we're riding on 0001. I myself would not put any money in this stock. If you like the stock, like it a year down the road. I don't think anything's going to happen with stock for a long time. I think it's going to be a while before they build their business up. They need some better news. They need to fix that share structure. And now look, they could do share buybacks, They can just reduce the share structure. The insiders can buy a lot more shares at that price. There's a lot they can do to make this stock look more attractive. Right now, it does not look attractive, not in any way, shape, or form. I wouldn't ask it out on a blind date if I was blind. That's all I'm saying. That does it, folks. What time is it? 5:55. Did we just set a new record? Is this the longest live stream I've ever done? You don't know the popping that's going on up there right now. Ruby, I'm not going to get to Ruby. I'm sorry, man. This was a long day for me. I traded from 9:30 to 4 o'clock with a lot of people, including my own 14 plays playing the market. Made about $500 today playing down puts on the Russell. Boom, 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 boom. I lost money. I lost about $115, but at the end of the day, I was up 500. Those were small gains. Those are like 60, 70, $40 each. Bing, 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 bing. All added up to about $500. I ain't trying to hit home runs. I'm just trying to get on first base. Whew. Home runs, you know what? Home run kings are also strikeout kings. They are one and the same in most cases. Check Babe Ruth's record. See if I'm wrong. What do you mean, who's Babe Ruth? I'm out of here. Thanks, folks. I appreciate your time. It was a Titanic episode, 2 hours. Oh, my God. Hopefully, we covered some stuff that was interesting, maybe about the stocks, maybe about trading, maybe about me. Whatever keeps you here. I'll be here again next week, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Thursdays, that's right, except for Thanksgiving, which always falls on Thursday, so don't look for me then. I'll see you then. Why am I froze? Bye, folks. I'm out of here. My brain's popping. No!